ver si se tiran a aquellas dos personas que están allá.
Herzegovina, according to the people that live here, of course. Mostar got named after the people that were guarding the bridge back in the 16th century, and those people were called Mostari on our language. So even right now, the first four letters, Most, means bridge, and Ari meant defenders. So Mostar kept its name during the entire history, and now is a beautiful place that has 7 bridges that are connecting eastern and western coast of the river Neretva. All of these bridges were destroyed, unfortunately, during the last 2 wars that we experienced over here in Mostar, but luckily for us every single bridge is now rebuilt, including the most beautiful one, the most significant one, the old bridge, which actually kept its old look, its old style. It looks exactly the same as the original one, which was built 400 years ago. On the other hand, I assume it's your first time over here in Bosnia Herzegovina.
Yes.
Does anybody know anything about my country? Don't have to be ashamed, it's fine, it's okay, we are really a small country. There are a lot of people that never heard of Bosnia Herzegovina, of course. That doesn't bother me, and I'm here to explain you a few things. So basically some general information about Bosnia Herzegovina is that we are a triangle-shaped country with a population of around 3.6 million people. The whole country is based on ethnic diversity. And this is really important to know. So basically, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, 3 different nations are living together, splitting the territory into 3 parts. And in population of around 3.6 million people, there is around 50% Bosnians, 30% of Serbs, and 15% of Croats. When I say 3 different nations, 1 country, it sounds really beautiful, but in reality, it's a whole other thing, unfortunately. Because of this constitutional agreement, because of this political system, that's why we also have 3 presidents, believe it or not, that are elected every 4 years at the same time, and each of these 3 presidents represent 1 constitutive nation. If 2 of the presidents agree on a certain plan, the 3rd disagrees, the whole plan falls off. So that's why it's really hard to develop over here with this kind of political system in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And also you cannot deny the fact that war affected us a lot, mostly in a negative way. Even right now in 2019, you can still see some bullet holes, some buildings, you can still see a lot of destroyed buildings, especially when we cross the street, because lack of funds, lack of money to rebuild everything what was destroyed in the war. And believe it or not, guys, we have the same political parties in charge now in 2019, the same ones that led us to the last war in 1993. So nothing much has actually changed. The throne is mostly inherited by the sons of the former presidents, and over here it's usually 1 political party, 1 nationality, 1 religion. That's how it goes. And they have a really cheeky tactic. They threaten the people in a way. If you don't vote for our political party, then you cannot coexist with 2 other nationalities. And we buy it. And that is the main issue over here. When I say we, I refer to the entire population, not on myself. We keep voting for the same people all over and over again, while they're pretty much providing nothing, you know, in order to improve the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So what we all need to do, especially the younger people, I like to put focus on younger people, we have to wake up. We have to drink lesser coffee. Why do I say this? Because coffee bars are full and crowded of younger people discussing about how bad situation over here in Bosnia and Herzegovina is while doing nothing with their lives. We just cannot sit home and do nothing and expect miracles to happen. We need to get involved more into politics. We need to get educated more, give other political candidates a chance for the sake of our future, for the sake of our children. And hopefully, I believe in the progress. Hopefully in next, few generations, few years, the things are going to be better over here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. and it's a big improvement for the tourism of Mostar and local economy, of course. They had a cliff on top of the bridge, which is another 7 meters high, and they jump from the cliff and do some crazy stunts mid-air. Of course, before you jump, you have to put the cold water, cold shower on yourself to prevent the heart attack, because differences between air temperatures and water temperatures are 40 degrees sometimes when it gets really warm over here in the city of Mostar.
Vamos a ver si se tiran a aquellas dos personas que están allá. And the three most important periods of history for this country were the Ottoman Empire, Austro-Hungarians, and of course Yugoslavia. So Ottoman Empire, Ottomans came here at the beginning of 15th century and they ruled for around 400 years. So in those 400 years of ruling, they influenced us a lot with their culture, with their tradition, with their cuisine, and of course with their religion. At the end of the Ottoman era, and that was somewhere at the beginning of 19th century, Austro-Hungarians came here and conquered the entire place. So Austro-Hungarians ruled only for around 40 years, but in those 40 years of ruling they managed to build 60% of the city. So they managed to build more streets, hospitals, schools, houses, more than Ottomans did in their 400 years of ruling. And this building over here that you can see is actually the first newspaper publisher for the city of Mostar, which was designed by the Austro-Hungarians. Unfortunately, you cannot see how the building looked like originally because it was destroyed during the past war that we had. And usually the Austro-Hungarian buildings have more open space, usually bigger windows, big entrances, and they are usually painted in yellow or orange, which is a distinction when you look at this building, which is more like a socialist Yugoslavian one. Smaller windows, smaller balconies, and white facade, of course. And then the third architecture that you can see on this street, which we're heading to in the next few minutes, is the Ottoman Oriental one over there, which is, in my opinion, the most beautiful one in city of Mostar. But we have to embrace, you know, everything that went through Bosnia Herzegovina, in my opinion. So basically, I'm going to skip the parts about the First, about the Second World War. During the Second World War, I already told you we got annexed and we couldn't do pretty much anything. But then after Bosnia and Herzegovina got rid of the Nazis, Yugoslavia happened. And you probably heard of Yugoslavia, the country which I haven't experienced because I wasn't born yet. The country that connects my family and most of the people from Bosnia and Herzegovina to good stories. Basically, Yugoslavia was a country that involved almost entire territory of Balkans. Bosnia and Herzegovina, along with Croatia, Serbia, Montenegro, Macedonia, Slovenia, and Kosovo, was also part of the former Republic of Yugoslavia. Imagine that in a big country like that, we had only one president, one strong hand. He was a communist called Josip Broz Tito, and we only had one common identity. While now in the Bosnia and Herzegovina, in a small country like this, everything is kind of divided into three parts. Three different nationalities, three different religions, and three different languages, believe it or not, even though they sound the same. During Yugoslavia, what was the most significant thing? It was free education, of course. Imagine that 60 years ago, we had a higher percentage of educated people than we have right now in 2019. So basically, Yugoslavia was providing free education for the kids that were living over here. And we have a big issue nowadays in Bosnia and Herzegovina, issue with migrations, where 10,000 young people every year decide to leave this country. Most of them go towards the Germany or some other countries around Europe to seek for better jobs after finishing high school, which is mandatory. And that creates a problem for the future of our country, because based on the bloody history that we had, we didn't have the rights to choose, of course. In my opinion, future relies on the younger people. And if every single citizen that is my age decides to leave this country, then unfortunately there will be no future in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And why do we leave the country? Because even though if you finish your university over here, if you pay tons of money for that, based on our average salary, which is really low, nobody guarantees that you are going to find a job.